lot of times I'm driving, there's nothing to do, and I shuffle through the radio before I unglue. There's a lot of red on ways, it's traffic, I'm screwed, and I'm wired a bit different than a regular dude. It's not a bad thing, I embrace it, it's true. The radio don't stimulate brain chemistry fluid. The Buddha found nirvana and the Four Noble Truths. Through a meditative process, right action he proved. For me, I require the use of a tool, a detector, pin, pointer, shovel, and beach scoop. I'm meant to work the dirt with my history crew, but everywhere I look, my interest taboo. Most people choose Bieber over Tippy Canoe. What does a detectorist listen to when the radio is full of bad music and news? I need an alternative for me to peruse. Beyond Sight and Sound gets fantastic reviews. A metal detecting show where my thought bubble brews. Thank you, Josh Kimmel, for inviting me to a detecting dork out with guests like yours truly.
Are you looking for a high-quality beach and sand scoop? Are you trying to take your hunting to the extreme? How about an American-based company that stands behind their product and everything they sell? Then check out our friends over at XTREME Scoops. John has been making scoops for some time now and makes a quality beach and sand scoop to take your hunting to the next level. XTREME Scoops recently released their new sand shredder that works great in the water and on the beach. And if you're a new Equinox user, you may want to check out his Surfmaster X3 that can trap those small targets you new Equinox users are finding out there. XTREME Scoop's company approach is let's do it right. So do it right, buy it once, and go to the extreme. XTREMEScoops.com. That's XTREME scoops.com. Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show. All right, we're back, we're live. It's time to roll with the show. Oh, let's see. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for all the really cool digging people out there. And apparently there's a number of us that are trying to stay cool today, because I see a number of people in the chat already. Happy anniversary to Mark and Gail, by the way. I see Dylan's in the chat, the Bills, Ed, Barb, Mark, Chuck, Mike, and Dylan from the Relic Hunter Facebook group. Shout out to them. Looks like Ed's trying to get Barb fired up already. Good grief. Good grief. And Steve's in too. Welcome aboard. Let's see here. Well, obviously, it's nice to see that I still haven't necessarily fixed my chat issue yet. Tam's in. Welcome to her. Okay, so we'll switch over to the other screen then. See what happens that way. There it is. All right. Links in the description. First and foremost, our friends over at Shooters and Prospectors. Chuck Smalley, the man with the plan, the dealer of choice, multi-line dealer, and don't forget, folks, just because he's out there in Illinois doesn't mean he can't get it to your door quick. well, as quick as, the shipping process works, which normally works pretty quick. And just because he's out there in Illinois, don't even think for a moment that he can't get you your water hunting gear as well, like a good quality beach scoop. I'm sure he can get a hold of them too. I know some people, they're not, they may not be real fond of the price tag of the XTREME scoops, but I'm telling you what, them things are rock solid. Rock solid. I definitely like that sand shredder. So we've got the links for DETECTEES.com. Ken, Mark, Darth, Buddy, and the gang doing a great job. TheRingFinders, Ohio Metal Detecting NYC, Detect That Outdoors, All Metal Militia, Illinois, Iowa Treasure Hunters. Quite a few links. Crazy Spider Adventures. Nokta Makro Detectors, their website, as well as the Mini Horde commercial. People are anxiously awaiting the arrival of those, definitely. Good machines from what I've seen. And obviously, people are still enjoying the Simplex. Oh boy. Looks like somebody's asking for a nice pink snakeskin, which coincidentally Chuck does carry the snakeskins as well as the Dean Ricker detector covers. And great covers they are, definitely. The link for Midwest Refineries, I believe, is still in the description. Which I believe, the last I checked, which was a few hours ago, silver it's inching up there, 28.20, I believe. And gold was, what? I want to say 28.66. That was a few hours before going live. Still a good price. So, we're here on Sundays. We're here on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Always 8 p.m. Eastern. You can find us here on Spreaker. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us through the podcast distribution services. You can find us on YouTube. We're all over the place. This afternoon, before going live, it looks like we took on yet another update. So we'll have to see what happens. So far from everything I'm seeing here, it looks like things are running smoothly. So that's always a plus. That's definitely a plus. That's what we like to see. I believe. Yes, it looks like things are... looks like things are responding properly. Huh! Who would have thunk it? Alright. Well, also a quick update on the packages from the July challenge. I do believe that John has shipped out his part of the prizes. I'm not sure if they've been received or not, but I believe he's shipped them out now. The prizes that I had were shipped. It looks like by tracking number, Nelson and Ed have both received their coins. I'm not sure. There again, I'm not sure on Chuck's. I believe so. I believe he's already shipped his. Usually he's very responsive on getting that stuff shipped out. Welcome to the Crazy Spider himself. Good job on the video. Good job on the video. And let's see here. Looks like, yes, Ed says he got his yesterday. Cool. Good. So we do have some response there. Was a little... Okay. And we've got response from Nelson, too. All right. Was a little concerned there because sometimes the tracking numbers, the post office doesn't think to scan them. And hadn't seen anything posted, so we weren't sure, but from the way it was looking on my end, it appeared that they had been out for delivery, so they should have been received. So good to see that they have received them. Oh, okay. And it looks like Chuck will be shipping his part soon. Very soon, I do believe. So, the last I checked, like I said, that's what the silver and gold prices are at. Don't know if anybody's really given a lot of thought to, are they going to sit and wait? Are they going to sell? Are they not going to sell? Obviously, that's something that when we see prices like this, that's something that we have to ponder, I guess you could say. I'm going to sit. I'm not looking to sell. I'm not planning to sell. I may sell a couple of small pieces. Nice. Looks like Chuck's adding some found coins into the keeper's box for the kids. Good to see. They'll get a kick out of that. Definitely. Also, if people had missed it, we're back on course to sharing the archives over to YouTube. YouTube had recently went through some changes that they were being a little problematic, or at least the devices on my end were being a little problematic, but we are getting those carried back over. And people do seem to be picking back up on those. Let's see here. Hopefully I didn't miss that. I think I've got it. We'll find out. Yeah, I've got it. How's it going, Chuck?
No, it's pretty good. I didn't think I was going to be on tonight. Pages dropped at about 6:15, but it was just alarms going off and accidental. So back. That's cool.
Well,
but anyway,
that's as long as it was accidental.
That question you just asked: sell or not to sell? Well, there's certain things to me when you start popping over 2,000 an ounce, and if you got scrap gold. I don't know how long this bubble's going to last. Now, you got guys telling you it's going to go higher and higher, you know. Then you got others going, well, it's going to go away from bull to bear, and it's going to fall off and that kind of stuff, you know. And you got maybe culls and scrap coins that you found or whatever. You know, we're at a point that we haven't seen these numbers for a long time.
Exactly. And, you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with if people got some rosies laying around or, I don't know, some Washington quarters that maybe you dinged it pretty good with the shovel or something. Hey, sure, I'm on board with that. I'd jump off now while I could, probably.
Right. So, and I've got gold that I'm kind of watching a little bit. I'm talking some ounces here.
Right.
But man, it can fall faster than it went up. So, you know, that's the caveat there.
Exactly. It's
2036, a little while ago. Markets closed overseas. And
Yeah, I know when I checked
Silver's up
earlier today, it was, I don't know, 2028.66, I believe. But that was
to like,
before close.
right. So tomorrow when all the markets are open together, that's when it's going to be a big tail and it may climb up. But everything kind of settled back. The Dow, the NASDAQ, everything last toward the end of the week. There was some profit taking going on.
Yeah, I haven't seen, at least the last couple of times I've checked, I haven't seen any dramatic increases or decreases. Sure, there's been a little bit of fluctuation, and we're going to have that all the time. But I haven't seen anything massive, so I think we're kind of at a nice cruising altitude, so to speak.
Yeah. Mark's got it at 2029. He said the last high was 2011. I think he's 100% correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been putting all the Rosies and the Mercs and Washington corners and that. And, if you can capitalize on what you got and it does some good for you, whether you need to pay down a bill or something, or you're wanting a new detector, or you're wanting a new outboard motor like I am, it can't go against it.
Hey,
they don't give outboard motors away, let me tell you. Not 90 horses.
No, they don't, and unfortunately, they're not cheap. But hey, if you've got a few ounces of gold you can part with, I'm sure you can have that motor in no time.
Well, we still have to get all the everybody on board in the family with it. You understand?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep, definitely. I know what you're saying there.
Just going down and say, look at the back of the boat. That new motor look good?
Right, yeah. Yes, there are some things to deal with, you could say.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. And for some of these people, we find broken jewelry. Hey, it's not doing you any good necessarily setting in the display. If you can sell it, why not?
Yep.
Go ahead. Maybe they're looking for a new scoop or a new coil or a new pinpointer or something like that.
That's right. You can pay for your hobby partially, or you can reboot the gas tank a few times.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what is it? A lot of times you'll see people, well, occasionally you'll see them pick up these 1 gram gold bars. Well, if that's what you want to call it, it's not much of a bar. But, even them things are worth, probably $60-65 now a piece.
I think it was 67 on the gram there when I looked at gram the last time. So, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that ain't bad at all. If you're hurting for a pinpointer or something, you got 1 or 2 of those laying around, well, there you go. You're well on your way.
So if you send them in to, like, Midwest Refinery, let's just talk Rosies, I think they were paying $2.02 on Friday.
That's not bad for a Rosie.
Nope. It jumped up enough there at 202, or it fluctuates, and it doesn't work on your timestamp. It works on their timestamp. When it hits the door, they mark it. They look at the spot at that time, and that's what they'll delve it out to. So pay you for it. So it's always a roll of the dice, or you go to a good local dealer. He may be paying you $1.80 spot cash. There's no checks, no forms you got to fill out. I mean, you have to fill out a form. Midwest Refineries. So, yeah, they're tracking it. So that's your call. If you get a cash sell, do the cash sell.
Right. And for some of us, if we've been into, say, a maybe not so old park and we've hit a number of Rosies, that's a pretty good return on
Yes, it is.
digging up a dime.
Yes, it is. So, hey, it's your call. I know guys that will never sell any of it. None
Right.
of it.
Right.
And that type. But the collectible stuff, if you got some that are well worth over spot, and you got some things that are memorable and things like that, I do. They won't ever leave. But the others, yeah, goodbye.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you've been fortunate enough maybe to, I don't know, say you ran across a good deal on a kind of beat up gold coin, well, chances are good that you were paying near spot at the time that you ran across it. So you've made money having that thing sitting around. Maybe now's the time to think about letting it go.
Yep. And if you have bar and that kind of stuff, if you do it with Midwest Refinery, it's 93%. In other words, they're giving you 93% of spot.
That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. Somebody had asked me recently if they sent in scrap jewelry, whether they could send it in with or without the stones, and I had told them, I said, well, you can send it either way. I'm not sure, though. I can't remember if you get the stones back if you ship it with. And I haven't had a chance to look.
If you stones back, they will come back. But if you don't say anything, they just strip them.
Right. They'll keep them.
Let's say you have unclaimed class rings and they've got a stone in it. They pop that out. Then they go by the weight of the gold, And,
right. And
if
a lot
send them nice diamonds and you don't say you want them back, they may call you and ask if they want it back, but you should stipulate, please send stones back. But most of you can, unless it's really embedded in the metal in some settings. And,
right.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a very good point.
I have never sent rings with stones to them.
Right, yeah, just solid bands.
And you pop out.
Right. Well, and you figure, too, on a number of the pieces that we find, the stones are easy enough to get out of them, or the stones are so small that you're not really making anything by keeping them. Most people aren't going to mess with them, especially when they're just chips.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's
if that's something that people prefer to have back, they should definitely stipulate that they want to do that. And have you heard anything more on the Equinox or Vanquish update?
Nope. Well, had a couple guys. We had a club meeting that they'd done the updates, and Penny had done it, and she said it seemed to settle the machine down a little bit.
Right.
A couple others. So I think it's well worth your time to go ahead and do it. She was quizzing me about the 4 kilohertz. I said that does not scan. That is a fixed, standalone frequency you can switch to. Right.
That's single frequency only. And from what I've heard so far, I think, given the time, if I can find enough free time to set up the other system this coming week, I may go ahead and run the update, because you're not necessarily going to hurt yourself doing it. You don't have to use the 4 kilohertz if you don't want to. But if it does seem to settle the machine down a little bit, that may be interesting to see. So it may be worth the time of doing the update. I know Nelson said that his feedback on the update is he needs to retire, because he updated his Equinox a little over a week ago, I think, and he still hasn't made it out to play with it yet. I guess they're working him too hard.
Yep. Yeah, I see Frank's in the house. He snuck in. I see a lot of Hi Franks popping up there. Hi, Frank.
Oh, welcome to Frank. Hopefully he's doing all right after that big storm blew through. They they had another big storm there in Jersey.
Heard that, and then Ronnie, he was shut down. Basically, didn't have power in his neck of the woods there, and just a few blocks away they had power, and they told him they wouldn't get power back till maybe today. So that shut his net down and all his work. He was kind of sitting still in the water for a few days.
Ouch.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see where Frank had to do a little bit of system repair. Hopefully he's got his system back up and running. Apparently one of them storms, the roof sprung a leak over his laptop keyboard.
Well, he said there was no leaks in the ugly box barn. So that means maybe the equipment's all good in there. So good. We're glad to hear it, Frank. And then the Bionic Man, Steve, is getting, is it shoulder repaired, I guess?
Yeah. It's
on him, so those guys have had a heck of a summer.
Yeah, that's been a while coming, and we definitely wish him the best of luck with it.
Right,
because it was
we do.
It was definitely giving him some issues, quite a fair amount of issues there towards the end when they made the decision. Yeah, definitely, because that can't be any fun trying to hunt on the beach when you're in pain like that.
Frank says he's got no leaks after the PC disaster. Must have fried it good, huh? Had to get a new keyboard.
Too bad it couldn't have been before.
Yeah. So, but other than that, and hey, have you heard anybody that's done a Vanquish update?
I have not yet. So I'm not real sure.
I don't have one. They're all in the box. I could go update one, and I've ran it. They're a great little machine. They're lightweight. But those that have used it in a long time fashion, do the update. They're the ones you want to hear from. How'd it work? How'd it do?
Yeah, exactly. And I know Frank's had some time in on a Vanquish. I have not. I don't know. It's a great machine from what I hear. It's just if you're an Equinox user, you've pretty much you have no use for a Vanquish.
If you're up at the Equinox, well, yeah. But for those stepping into Mine Lab, want to learn Mine Lab, get their feet wet with Mine Lab, the Vanquish 540, 440 are good units to step into. Budgetarily wise, they're much like the budgets, the Simplexes, things like that. But with the Vanquish, we've got the technology of Mine Lab working on that. And they can step into Mine Lab and learn a lot about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's kind of where that niche is for the Vanquish for a lot of people, because it's a very cost-effective way to get yourself into the Mine Lab line and get yourself into that true simultaneous multi-IQ, multi-frequency.
The multi-IQ system. And Frank just reported he is not. He has a test machine. Test machines sometimes don't have everything in them 100%. They're out there very early, and there's still things with them. So thanks for the update, Frank.
Well, I know from what Frank has said in the past, he's been fairly impressed with the Vanquish, especially for no more than what the price point is on them. Kind of like what we hear from people with the Simplex.
Yes.
Because there again, for the price point, you can't beat that machine. Not for the features it has at that price point.
They've got a lot in that machine for the bang for the buck is awesome.
Absolutely. And a very responsive machine as well. I think Nokta Makro did very well with that release. It's still a very popular machine, and debatably one of the most talked about machines still coming out from Nokta Makro. That and their mini hordes.
Yep. Well, we're still anxiously awaiting all of that. I mean, the MIDI and MIDIs and the Apex and things like that, and I hope they all take good time, lengthy time. Any bugs found, work them out before they put them out there. Coils all the way up to the box. Let's get her straight, and that'll make a lot of happy customers that way.
Yeah, exactly, and that's one of the reasons why I wasn't, necessarily on the spot to update the Equinox, because sometimes when certain manufacturers release these updates, you find out that there's a glitch or a bug that they have to go back and release another update for to fix that. So far, though, from what I've heard from other people and everything, it all seems to be working smooth, so I don't expect to see anything like that from MineLab on this.
I don't think so. I see Nelson wants a fitty. Well, I can't tell you if something like coming out. They still tout the 3030 at the top of the line, so we'll see what happens. I do know that the conferences have been moved till next April. I don't know if they're going to be going next April. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
And see what they're due and what's going on. I've heard a few things. I'm not going to part with those yet, but we'll see what happens.
And it is probably a very wise choice on their part, especially seeing, what we've got going on here in our neck of the woods, especially. I mean, they're not real happy with our county here in Ohio, you could say.
Right.
But that's the way things go. And then in other news, apparently, people were shaken up a little bit today. 5.1 earthquake there, multi-state area there in the Carolinas and Virginia.
That's not too unusual for them to get a little shook up down there, is it?
That's a pretty good size quake for them. I want to say that's been the biggest one they've seen since probably prior to pre-1920.
Oh, really? Well, I know. What year was it? It shook D.C. and Virginia pretty good, where it cracked the Washington Monument, and a bunch of other places had damage, and Orange, Virginia, where Mount Pelier is, they had damage all the way to D.C. They're about 80 miles apart, but that whole area shook pretty hard, too.
Right. I'm trying to remember. The epicenter may have been around Sparta.
That's what Mark's saying. It's the biggest quake since 1916.
Yeah. So there were some people that got some surprises. Hopefully, I haven't heard anything as far as the extent of the damage, if there was any, or injuries or anything like that, but hopefully everybody made it through okay.
I'm hoping.
And now for some of those people, maybe they're out checking the fields with their detectors, because you never know. Maybe it kind of shook something up or shook something loose.
Oh, yeah?
Might be a great time to get out and practice some social distancing and do some swinging.
Be good. Real good. We got, last Thursday night we had a club meeting, and we hosted them over here at the old Dragway Park, and they had open hunting from about 3 o'clock on. We had a nice turnout, and everybody could stay well distanced, a short meeting afterwards, and there was some silver and stuff that came up, but you got to work for it out there.
Oh, yeah,
Some
you
old
definitely...
toys, like car parts, lots of car parts.
Yeah, you definitely have to work for it and pick between the trash and all of that. But usually somebody always kicks up something pretty good from out there.
Oh, yeah, there was 40s era coins and Mercs and some Rosies popped up and things like that. They had a good time, and it wasn't terrible hot. There was a pretty nice night, and some stayed after, and they were able to hunt till dark. They had a good time. So there was a little bit of a get-together, 30, maybe 35 to 37 were there, something like that.
Oh, that doesn't sound bad. How was the weather?
Oh, beautiful.
I was going to say, that should have been right
80
there.
degrees. Nice west breeze. It was just beautiful.
Okay, I was going to say, that should have been right there where you guys were probably still in the mid-upper 70s.
Yep. It was just a gorgeous day. And actually, today it stayed cloudy most of the day here, which helped us in one way. It didn't get up to that 90 mark. Tomorrow's not looking very good. But we're still dry here and actually do need some rain. Not gully washers, but need some rain. We'll see what happens. They're talking tonight and tomorrow yet. So
we're in the same boat with you pretty much. We could use the rain. I don't know. I thought, well, maybe if time allows, maybe I'll try to get out sometime next week and do a couple of quick videos or something, because I doubt I'm going to be able to do much digging. Not with as dry as everything is.
Well, the river is finally at the low point I've seen so far this year, and dropping another 1.5 feet, and the boat's cranked up, and I think Frank's going to come over, and we're heading to a couple of the island spots where it starts to bear that low area, and we'll be able to hunt those areas for some hopefully older silver and things like that, and a few rings, the old swim holes and that kind of stuff. So the river's getting down there. That's the game plan. No dry land hunting, because it's gotten hard and extremely dry. And the private permissions I got, I always tell them when it gets dry, I don't come digging and things like that.
Right. That's the time to hit the sand, hit the beaches, hit the swimming holes or the water. At least that way, then you can stay cool, too.
Kevin says we need rain. K2 mess. Kevin. He came to the hunt the other night. We had a good night.
Yeah, there's a lot of us that are still in need of some rain like that, definitely. Did you get the electrical issue worked out on the boat? It looked like in your go live there was a wire laying across the top.
Well, that wire is actually a GPS line for the Hummingbird that's on there. I got side scan sonar, and
okay.
And there's a wire up underneath that's giving me fits somewhere, and I haven't. Out of the 50 or so that are bundled, they're all bundled, and I got to track the one down because I've only got 2 gauges and a switch up on the top side. I got the switch issue fixed, but the 2 gauges, you'll take off. I've got RPM, and all of a sudden that's gone, and my fuel tank goes to super full. So then it goes empty, and it's going back and forth, and I'm going, So I'm going to have to check the power block in there and see what's going on with it. But other than that, everything's running pretty good.
Well, good. That's always a plus. You got to make sure you can make it to the hunt site and back.
Yep.
Don't want to be breaking down out there.
I took her out the other day and put some miles on it. We're running good, ran her up and down, got everything cleaned out because I fogged the engine for storage. And to get it all cleaned out and running good, it takes a little bit. And I had a fuel issue on one line, got that fixed. Boats are holes in the water that you throw money into.
Right, yeah, I've had that conversation before with someone else, and I've told them before there's 2 great days in a boat owner's life. It's the day they get it and the day they sell it to someone else. Other than that, you're putting money in it and making repairs. It's always nice to know someone else with a boat. That way they can make the repairs.
There you go. Well, they're just like anything else that you get kind of like Kevin's got a Jeep, and he's been putting new tires on and all that. It is a nice looking Jeep. And then Ohio Relic Hunting says if I have a short in the boat, we'll meet him in New Orleans. No, you'll meet me at Lock and Dam 13 because I'll be along the shoreline there as I drift down slowly.
Well then, we'll have to hope that that doesn't happen. Of course, I'm sure you know plenty of people you can holler for.
Oh, trust me. Phone was in there. I got a fire radio in there. Generally call my captain up down there. I said, Perry, I'm putting the boat in. He says, oh, come on, please call us. We'd love to put that on video. I said, no. So, but I do let them know when I'm first getting it running. I have stopped dead in the water out there before and then have to sit and figure what's going on here to get it straightened and then fire it back up. So that's the way it goes. But now the water's getting down there, and yeah, it's time to hit some beaches and also hit a couple walleye holes, so put some fish on it.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, it looked like from the go live the other day, though, you couldn't beat the weather.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Looked like you had a grand old time out there running up and down the river.
Yep, I was just looking at I think you saw where I went past the barge terminal there, and then I come back, and I ran back up further into Albany, and I came back, and the towboat was coming in to pick up the empty there from the barge terminal, and that kind of stuff. So that's always fun. It's fun on a river. Kevin's telling me that he's got some old 1840s map. He alluded some things to me the other day that he wants to look for, so I'm hoping I can find some LiDAR of that area. Kevin, I actually got on and tried to find LiDAR for that area, and I don't think we have any on the Illinois side. So,
sounds like a job for Frank.
Well, I haven't talked to Frank yet, but I don't know if Kevin did or not. But we're going to be working on that. Well, all the state of Iowa's got LiDAR. I don't know why they haven't got it completely done here in Illinois yet.
Great state of confusion.
You're right. Yeah, Kevin, you're right too. Illinois stinks. So, but LiDAR would be a great boon on a couple spots that he's working on up there, and would show him an awful lot. I've been up on the one place with him, and it would really, really give us a good look at it, because I've used it on some spots in Iowa that just where we thought we were correct on a couple homes and this kind of stuff, we weren't. And it led us to a different little area in there and a field, and you can really see it with LiDAR. You can also see it with aerial maps, but it's much better.
Yeah, LiDAR's much more exacting and accurate. I mean, like we've said before on the show, for people that can kind of wrap their mind around the concept of the LiDAR and figure out their way around it, it's a game changer. So for people that have them sites that think nobody knows anything about, you better get out there and pound them fast before everybody else finds out about it, because LiDAR is an eye-opening game changer.
Yes, it is. Absolutely is. My gosh. They're using it, down looking for the Aztec and Mayan ruins, and it's just opened up a whole new world for them down there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it pulls all that tree cover, leaf cover, any of that. It just kind of wipes it out of the way.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So, but as that advances, that's going to be a big key for us that get out and look for these old town sites and villages and even areas that were Indian related going back centuries and centuries and centuries. That's going to be pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely. People just got to remember too, when you're talking about LiDAR, you're dealing with very high resolution imagery. So it may lag your computer a little bit.
It could. Out here in the land of very little internet that has any strength to it, it would.
Right? Yeah, kind of click on that, and while you're waiting for it to load, go grab a cup of coffee or something.
Yep. So, well, that's about all I got for you, Josh. Other than nobody really chimed in too much, other than I did talk to a couple people at the meeting the other night that done the updates, and they seemed to think it was a successful add-on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from what I'm hearing, I've heard more positives than negatives on it. Some people say that they really didn't notice much of a difference, but there again, I'm not sure what their skill set, environment, or settings were for those who didn't notice any noticeable change or anything. And
right. Hey, one thing, give a shout out to Barb there. I saw some of her stuff she had up for sale at the local farmer's market. The only problem is, she says, well, just come on down and get them. Well, it's just a little too long a drive, Barb.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a trip.
Nice job arranging flowers.
They did look very nice.
Yes, they did. Good job, Barb.
And I think at the time that I had noticed it and she had replied or whatever, I think she had sold all of them but one. So she's still tearing the market up.
Good.
Yeah.
Gets enough of that. Then that retirement's going to be nicer, and she can get out and detect more.
I'm sure that's what she's hoping, or at the very least, she's okay with it if that's the way it plays out. That's
right. Shout out to John on his latest videos. Pretty cool.
Yeah, wasn't bad. Yeah. It was just he had to kind of dig down to find those clips because, as you know, it's been dry. So from a videographer perspective, it's hard to get new content to upload. But he did have some clips there.
On some other stuff, and maybe we'll get some content for it.
I know I've spoken with him a couple of times and kind of threw a couple of different ideas his way that, you know, hey, if you get hard up and it's like, man, what am I going to do for a video? Here's these options. And these are options that are viable. They're options that people that follow your channel would probably be interested in. And yes, it's a way to get that content out there. Right. That way, because for some of them out there, they're going, oh man, what am I going to do next week? And it's tough.
Well,
it gets tough sometimes.
I'm looking forward to next June and some of this other stuff we got going. I hope Casey's hunt goes off there in September, and we can get some hunts together, and we get all of you up there to Galesburg, because we're going to have quite the lineup of people for you to meet and hang out with, and that all comes to pass. And everybody keeps telling me right after the election, it'll either go away, depending upon who's elected, or get worse, depending upon who's elected.
Well, we'll hope it doesn't get worse. Because I mean, at this point with Casey's hunt, I hope they're setting in a better position than we are here currently in Ohio, because it ain't looking real good for us here in Ohio right now. So it's hard to say, but we've actually...
The two counties that are across from each other right now, up by Dubuque, Iowa, and Galena, Illinois, Lee County, and Joe Davis County, both are on the uptick. So I don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah, I would see around here, the residents of our county have decided they're going to become overachievers, and I honestly don't think they're going to be happy until we hit the worst level in the state. We're already
That's
ranked
right.
number 1 in the state for number of positive cases in the last 14 days. So
Oh boy.
that's
So
really
let's just
saying
keep praying
something.
that this stuff, they come up with a fix and things go away and we can all get together again and get out there in a group and have a good time. And there'll be plenty of videos flying around then, I'm sure.
Yes, there will. And we've got Barb on with us too, Chuck.
Uh-oh. I didn't do it. Let's tackle. What's up?
Oh, I so hate COVID. I want COVID just to vanish.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like for
Well,
it to.
They've really started putting more restrictions statewide here, and then more stuff from the state for us to adhere to and on our responses. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous because we've had EMS come in our house, work, and then they come up positive. And I've been turning them in. I see them come in with no mask on, into the drive. They don't realize people are out there looking. And I'm texting Doc going, EMS just pulled in, driver don't have a mask on, just an FYI.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, we've got to get, people on the same page somehow.
Let's hope we can. That's all we can do it. And let's just all do. But you know what? They canceled the England trips. And talking with some of my friends over there, we messaged back and forth quite a bit. It's gotten worse in England, too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing as well. It's
that really put a damper on those trips.
Yeah, it's almost like, they said, okay, we can start opening things back up now, and everybody just went, oh, okay, we're all back to normal. It's business as usual. Well, bad idea.
Only in certain states. It's like, if I go to Massachusetts, I have to have a COVID test 3 days before I leave, before I get there. So you either have to lie about when you arrived, and they expect you to quarantine. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. But I mean, our numbers in North Carolina are, staying at 2,000, but they're on the other side of the state. So they're grouping the whole state together when 90% of the cases are on the east side of the dang state.
I want to say here in Ohio, we've been on average jumping by 1,000 to 1,500
somewhere
a day.
And tell them you're okay, or just carry your test results with you?
Well, the thing is, here's the thing. I had my third COVID test 2.5 weeks ago on a Wednesday, and I didn't get my results back yet. And now the state of North Carolina, DHHS, Department of Health and Human Services, has decided and made it mandatory that all nursing home employees get tested every 2 weeks. So, heck, I'm probably going to get tested the fourth time before I get my results from the third time.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I mean, so what's the sense of being tested if it takes 2 weeks to get your freaking results back?
Right.
Yep.
And Mark wants to know my take on the vaccine. Well, I'll tell you what, everybody in the chat, go get it first. I'll see how you do, and then I'll decide.
All I can say is when they come up with a vaccine, good luck to everyone.
That's my take. That's my take. It's like, once they do about 10,000 people and we see how many die, then I'll decide.
Well, yeah, that's always an option too, I guess. I don't know.
They're just rushing too quick, and it's like, if it was that easy when we already have one, I mean, and we don't.
Well, you do have a valid point.
I mean, if it was that easy to make a vaccine, we should have had one. This has been going on since February. Well, it's December 2019. It's why it's called COVID-19.
It was in December that
So
Right.
in Rochester was reporting it up and down along Wisconsin, Minnesota, northern Illinois.
So
And they'd
8
already
months.
had dust.
8 months. We don't have a vaccine. Yeah. Whatever.
Well, and I'm sure they're pushing as fast as they can, but you know as well as I do, unfortunately, there's protocols in place, you know, trials and everything that I'm sure they're trying to cut through all the red tape they can, but it still ain't going to be anytime soon, I don't believe.
No. And then, you know, like the flu vaccine, people always say, I got the flu from the vaccine. Well, the flu vaccine is what we call attenuated, which means dead.
Right.
It's
It doesn't work like
not,
that.
It's not live, and you can't catch the flu from it. So is this vaccine going to be attenuated too, or is it a live vaccine? That makes a whole lot of difference.
That's a very good point. I mean, I would like to think anyway that once it comes to the point of the vaccine, that they're not going to be so careless that it's a live vaccine.
I wouldn't think so, but it's like I want to know all the details about it. I just don't want them to say, hey, we have a vaccine, everybody get it. No, tell me about it.
Right, yeah, life's a bowl of peaches. We've got the cure. Where's the line to sign up for that? Yeah.
Well, and the thing is they're saying, yes, when people tested positive, they stayed positive for up to 12 weeks. So how long is this vaccine going to protect me? Am I going to have to get one every time I freaking turn around? I mean, are they looking at that too?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I wish I had the answers.
Previous flu vaccines. How long did they last? What was their lifespan in you? Do you know any of that?
Well, I can tell you with the flu, we had a mess up at work. I work in MDS, so I do all the reporting to the federal government. And I got people coming up that they haven't had a flu vaccine. And so I start checking charts. I start going through where are all your consents, and I'm calling their responsible people saying, I can find no documentation that this resident received a flu vaccine. And they're like, oh, no, I gave a consent on the phone. So we know the resident got the vaccine, but I have no proof of it. And so I get consent to give it again. And so we ended up giving 4 or 5 residents a second flu shot in like January, February, and March, because we were still in flu season.
Right.
So with the flu, one, and it doesn't hurt you. I don't know if it protects you any longer, probably, but you know, they look at flu season is from October through March. And so I'm assuming the vaccine protects you that long. I don't know. I'm sure as you get toward the end, you still have a chance of getting it.
Right. You may become a little more susceptible to it, but that brings in another good point too of, you know, we consider our flu season to run from, like you said, say roughly October to March. And here we are in August. Flu season's just around the corner, and we're still dealing with this other ball of wax.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, if it's like hepatitis B shots. You have to get 3 of them. You have to get one in 30 days, get one in 6 months. Some people it still don't take. You've got to have a titer greater than I don't know what. But it comes back and it tells you you're either protected or you're not. Well, smokers, it doesn't take a lot. And I can tell you, when in Florida, after they gave it, they didn't do a titer. But when I came up here, they're like, you need a titer. And my titer wasn't high enough. I got a shot, got checked 6 months later, and it was. So is this coronavirus vaccine going to be the same? I mean, do you have to
Now,
have
let me
so
ask
much
you
of
this
it?
question, Barb. Have you watched that video of the doctor, the gal, saying that she's been putting people on the zinc, that stuff, quinine stuff, and one other, and had them come in there on nearly death's bed, did not put them on a ventilator, put them on this stuff, and she was over 350 people walked out.
No,
Healthy.
I hadn't read that one. It's
It was a live
Plaquenil
video,
or...
and she really ripped into other doctors. She says, I don't want to see Americans being killed. This stuff works. It's working for me. Why aren't you? And she was telling them, we don't need double-blind tests. We don't need all this other stuff to use this stuff. It's working. And she said, you know, I don't know. Who do you listen to?
The thing is I can tell you, Plaquenil is the trade name. It is a wonderful dang drug. My ex has been on it 15 years maybe. He don't get sick. Never did. Okay? Never did. It's great for RA. They put all their RA patients on it, and they don't catch nothing. They just don't. They don't get the flu. I could be here dying, and he don't catch it being on Plaquenil.
Well, I'm taking notes now.
I mean, this is out there, and Trump put it back up. And he said, listen to this lady. And they just poo-poo him down the line. They absolutely hate him anyway. And he may be onto something, been onto something. This gal's proving it. So why aren't they working with us more? Because of one guy saying, well, it could cause some problems. Well, many, many, many people have never had a problem with it. And why aren't we following that lead? Why aren't we doing something with that a little more relevant, with something that she has that's worked for 350 plus patients? She had more in there. They're going in, and within 3 days, they're clearing up, and she's letting them go home. You have to stay home. You have to stay on the stuff. And it's like, come on, people. This gal may be onto something. Listen to her. Boy, she ripped Dr. Fauci on there. Wow.
Yeah, I've heard about the video. I haven't watched it myself, but I have heard the discussion about it, and you know, quite a fair amount of debate from either side of the fence.
Somebody posted it. Plaquenil is the same as hydroxychloroquine. Plaquenil is a trade name. The other one is a generic name. It's like Tylenol and acetaminophen, okay? It's got two names.
Right.
But I also seen an article about a month back, and it was not in the U.S., that patients that were coming in deathly ill, they were using dexamethasone, which is Decadron, which is a really potent steroid, so it reduces inflammation. And when you get COVID, you end up with MODS where your organs are all inflamed and start shutting down. And we normally would give, not prednisone. It's another steroid IV. And the only time I've given Decadron was with my cancer patients. It's great for reducing inflammation. And this country had great results. I mean, they were saving lives. People that died before they started it weren't dying no more. So it's like you had this big, and they did data on it, and they showed the data, and it was great. And then you don't hear nothing else about it. So I don't know if they're using it in this country or not.
Right. And unfortunately, you know, the way it sounds as the year progresses, it it kind of sounds like we're going to be right back on to the same topics come our next Field Safety Medical Awareness show.
I'll find something new to talk about, though, I promise. We'll talk about how not to store ammonium nitrate for 6 years on a dock and put a hole in the country.
There you go. Along with, well, what they're saying now, along with a small warehouse full of fireworks that caught fire.
And the one video that I seen, you can see the fireworks going off and then kaboom.
Yep.
Wow.
And I feel for those people. I mean, I've seen videos from 2 miles away that shook the buildings.
Wow.
Right.
That's a shame.
Yep.
Yeah,
That
it was 1/10 the size of the atomic bomb we dropped. 1/10 the size of that.
Yep.
That's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, that's
Ammonium
phenomenal.
nitrate takes an impact. It takes another explosion to really set it off of some type. And
Right, a catalyst,
they
basically.
used to take ammonium nitrate, mix it with another part, which I won't announce,
Right.
and use blast cap with it, and tremendous type of explosions from just a little bit. So with what they had there and watching the blast pattern come out, holy smokes.
Yeah.
That guy that was filming in the boat was still way too close.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good. Not good at all.
So, it's like, and now the country's broke. These people have no windows. They're in apartments you can't cool, and the country has froze all their money, because if they let anybody take money out of the bank, then the country is bankrupt. So people were being interviewed like, hopefully I can fix this, but I have to have cash because they won't give me my money.
Yep.
Right. It's a bad situation to be in.
So I guess, we have to put up with COVID. They're still digging out from underneath it. But I slept through the earthquake. I think it woke me up because I woke up going, what? And rolled over and went back to sleep. And then I get up, I'm going, oh, I wish I had been awake for that. I normally am up at that time, but I just conked out and slept right through.
Well, you were awake for it. You just went right back to sleep.
Yeah, it was like, what in the heck woke me up? Okay, I'm going to roll over and go back to sleep. They said they felt it at work. I have a friend in Greer, South Carolina. He said he felt it, that everything was shaking in his house. So it was felt for quite a while. And now they say to expect more.
That is not all that unusual when you've had a good-sized quake like that. You can expect a number of aftershocks.
Yeah, and they did show the town, it happened in Sparta.
Right.
And they said police were watching buildings because they've got a really bad feeling while they didn't come down in the quake, they're about to come down.
Oh boy.
That's not good.
Good. No.
Yeah.
I've been in a couple. We've had minor things here that shook us in around the 2.8 range, but we lay right on the New Madrid fault, which supposedly in, 1804 or 5, the largest earthquake ever recorded probably happened because it hit here. It changed the flow of the river. It heaved up ground, but there were very few inhabitants other than a few Indians and in the area that talked about it and recorded it. But it was so hard that it was felt all the way to Boston.
Whoa.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
Can
Don't
you
need another one
imagine-
of those anytime soon.
Can you imagine people back in that time when something like that happened, what they were thinking? You know,
Man,
whether they believed in gods or spirits, it's like, oh, somebody did something bad.
Right, yeah, it's time for a ceremony or something.
Yeah. So at least when it happens today, we know what it is. But
Right, we
I
understand the
hope it
science
stays.
behind it, but we still can't stop it.
Yeah, but back then, can you imagine being riding on a horse when
man,
one hits? You'd be going, oh my God.
Right.
unbelievable. So, the forces of Mother Nature are to be reckoned with. They're phenomenal, and the things that happen. And we were in Alaska, and what was it, 86, the wife and I were, and we left Wasilla, and they have tsunami sirens there. They're low, and got into some great conversations that they were telling me how afraid of tornadoes they are, because I asked them if that was weather related. They said no, all those sets of sirens that you pass along the Parks Highway coming up to Wasilla are for tsunami. If they get an earthquake, they blow those. They've been telling everybody to get to high ground because of the tsunami that could occur. And
Right.
we left. We got through Anchorage. We got down the turn again and up into the mountains. And back in Wasilla, it was centered there. They had a 7.1. When we came back to our friend's place, they were okay. They were higher up. But the ones in the low area, the highway was cracked open. The windows were busted out of the stores. It threw everything off the shelves. It shut down the whole area. And they just go about with a broom, cleaning up afterwards, saying, well, it's life in Alaska. It shakes there all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
God,
They're no strangers to earthquake activity there.
And,
to
of
be
course,
a
there's active volcanoes there. They're on the ring of
Yep,
fire out there. So.
exactly.
it's when you want to be in the glass making business. You may not
Yes.
make anything for 10 years, but in one day you've made $100,000.
Yep. So, we have to reckon with that. We think we have things under control. We don't. We just
No.
live through it and move forward if we can. So, well, I'm
Yeah,
going back out.
we
you
just
guys.
try to dodge the punches.
That's right, exactly. And everybody have a great week. Get out and find something if you can, and be safe out there. Barb, send me what I asked for, and we'll ship that off to you. I'm going to throw some coins in that fines box for the kids thing. And thanks, Ed, for the donation. And he said, give Barb the snake skin. So if you want the pink one, I got the pink ones.
That'd be great. I just have a question. If dimes are $1.50, what's a half dollar?
No, dimes are $2.
Dimes are
Dimes are
$2.
$2. Quarters are $6 something. Halves are going to be around 13, 12, 13. I'll have to look. I'm just shooting from the hip here. And,
Wow.
yeah, things have jumped up pretty well, Barb. Tomorrow is going to tell a tale. Is it going to continue to drop, or will it reclimb back above what it was? It dropped $1 something the other day, and then that was the close. But it looked like there was some profit taking going on all the way across the board.
Oh, yeah.
NASDAQ and Dow and everything dropped and that kind of stuff. And I still think silver, I've got guys that I follow and read. You got one guy on one side saying $40 silver is not out of the question or more. Others are saying it has reached a certain point. There will be a correction, which started the other day, and then it could level out or climb a little bit and just kind of do its thing for a while. So, it's a roll of the dice on how you go. You can go to a dealer, a trusted coin dealer, and they'll probably buy from you. And just remember, if you're going to places like Midwest Refinery, you have to fill a form out with all your information on it, because if you're sending a large amount in, Uncle Sam will know about it. And but if you're going to the dealer with a little bit here or there, on a cash type basis, you might be a little bit ahead. Now, they keep Midwest Refinery on 90% silver is keeping 10%, and they're in it to make money. And if you go to that website, it will explain how it works, and the form that you have to fill out is something that you can print up and send with your shipment to them. And the day they get it, it's time stamped, and they look at it, and if it has fallen drastically between the time you ship and they get it, that's what you're going to get. If it's went up, it's time stamped, and that's what you're going to get then.
Well, I think I'm going to keep mine just because.
Yeah, well, it's you can build it up, but right now it's on a nice roar. I'm watching some things close, but I've got some rings and a bunch of other stuff on gold at 2,000. That's probably going to go to Midwest Refineries.
Right. And now is certainly not the time to buy.
No.
Not a buyer's market. It's a
right
seller's
now,
market.
If you look through places like, check out Silvertown, JM Bullion, and go through, they've got very little to sell.
No, they're melting it.
Well, no, they've sold it off to people earlier as this was going up. People bought a lot, and they call them stackers. These guys buying rounds and bars and that kind of stuff. They swooped in and bought a lot of existing inventory, which then depletes the inventory. Then it causes demand. I mean, silver has a huge industrial use, and gold has a moderate industrial use. And as the supply drops off and it's not rebooted, even the mint has cut back on the
production
silver that they're putting out for sale.
Okay.
So supply and demand. Demand's up, prices are going up, and people are holding, and then, they have to make a decision whether they're going to trade back or whatever. And if the supply jumps up, the price will probably go down. There's a lot of variables and large investors. You can buy iShares. iShares buy you directly into the silver supply and gold supply, and they're up very well. And then mining stocks, of course, are up with all this. So, Nova Gold, things like that, other companies, McMoran and those people that are out there on a big scale mining, their stocks have risen nicely.
I still like tangible.
Well,
I like tangible, but I've done the iShare thing off and on over the years, and I'm kicking myself back about February when all this stuff broke, and I thought about it, buying iShares in both again. I should
Right.
Should have, would have, could have. Hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, you'd been sitting all right.
So
well,
I didn't say I didn't hold iShares. I just said I didn't buy more.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I have to keep at least 50 dimes for the kids' Christmas giveaway because I like to put a silver dime in every kid's package. So
There you go.
I'll have to look to see. I don't like rosies. I mean, if I'm going to have a silver dime, I want a Merc. But
There you go.
so
All right, I'll put a Merc in the box, so you're only going to need 49.
okay.
There you go.
So, but yeah.
And had I known
Metals
she was
is
holding you up on that, I would have sped that along.
Playing the commodities game is a dicey business. Trust me.
It is. It can be volatile.
Oh, big time.
And on that note, I can tell you, I know people, I mean, when COVID hit bad, stock went in the toilet. And my sister's crying like, oh, God, our money's down 15,000. I'm like, you haven't lost it till you start, using it. And hers has rebounded back some. But
Well, mine has rebounded and went above, but that's because of holdings in iShares.
Right.
Well, I got this stupid retirement that I didn't put a penny into when I started here in North Carolina at the local hospital. And 3 years ago, they sent me a letter. I could either take this large amount of money. I could let them keep it. They didn't have an investor yet. They had been bought out by Duke Life Point. And so Duke wanted to end this retirement that so many of us had. And so I took the money and ran and went to my bank and said, I got this money and I got this money, which was in an IRA with Valak, and I'd like my money all in one place. So I took my free money and invested it in Vanguard through the brokerage at the credit union.
There you go.
And I want to tell you what, if you got money, they are the place to invest in. And my aunt had told me 20 years ago, if you can ever invest in Vanguard, do it, because she made millions. And
Right.
so I did, and I lost maybe $3,000, and it's already rebounded. And my money has almost doubled in 3 years.
There you go.
I am not a broker. I am not an expert in it, but what you did was the right thing to do. Get into, talk with people and do the right thing by it, whether it's you're going to go with iShares, whether you're going to go to BlackRock, or you're going to go to Vanguard, or you're going to go to any of the other big companies. But remember, they are not FDIC insured in any way, shape, or form, like a bank account's insured. They're not. But just split it up. Don't put it all under one name, and I'll give you 4 letters that'll prove that. ENRON, 5 letters, Enron. There were people that lost their entire life on that company, and all they were was a gas holding company, and they just shut down, and people lost huge fortunes for that.
Right,
and
you've got to stay diversified.
And
the company I worked for 38 years would sit you down and say, look, you're earning shares from us. You've bought shares from us. But as you reach retirement, you've got too much money in our stock. And what you need to do is diversify, and we're putting you in with this brokerage firm that you don't have to go with them, but they will sit down with you and tell you what to do, because they said one thing, we're a very solid company, and they still are, but we don't want you having all your money in one basket.
Right,
So
nothing's ever a guarantee.
Well, and
No.
that's the thing I didn't like about the credit union. They were like, Vanguard's really rocking. You might want to put both my IRA and this retirement into it. And I went, no. I'm like, that was free money. I didn't pay a penny into it. It was almost $30,000. I was like,
Yep.
You just invest that. If I lose it, I didn't have it to begin with, It didn't cost me a penny. It's all their money. And I took my IRA, which was more, and said, what is your IRA paying? And it was 1% more. So I put that money in that, because I'm like, no, I will always have that money,
Right.
Yep.
And the IRAs made maybe, and I did it the same week. The IRAs made maybe 3,000-4,000, and the Vanguard has made 16,000.
Nice.
Right.
Good job.
Very good.
Yeah.
That whole rocky road of investment is a where you've got to get somebody that knows,
That's versed in what they're talking
work
about.
with you and protect you and move you forward. If you're selling your silver off, take it and invest the money, so it'll be there for you later at a later date. That's some things that you can do. If you don't need the money, but everything's up on one side, sell it and invest it elsewhere. And that's one thing. Trump is a businessman, and the business side of it sees him and trusts him, and he's kept us afloat in a sense. And just on his things that he does and some of the others that people listen to, and it just burns the other side that's against him, that he's not owned by anybody. He's kept things on a positive note in that part of the industry, and you know, the jobs and things that are still going have done very well. That's one positive note that we have to look through on where the situation in the world we have today is. Our country is still putting out a good gross national product. We are not based on silver and gold anymore as we were back before 1933, or what, not even before that. I'm talking FDR, you know, making the gold be illegal to hold, that kind of stuff. So I believe in solid things and not speculation. Enron was 100% speculation, and that's what you want to stay away from. You want to stay in good, solid growth companies and things like that.
Well, and the thing with
that comes from my guy. That's not me, and we've worked pretty solid to keep us above and beyond during retirement here.
Yeah, and that was with Vanguard. They have different portfolios, and they ask you, you know, they're like, you know, you're getting close to retirement. Do you want to play risky to make money, but then you could lose money? And I'm like, no, I want to be safe and a little moderate, a little safe. And so that's why I didn't lose that much, because I wasn't playing in the big rollers arena.
Right.
Right. And, you know, even with you guys as treasure hunters, there are several things out there that follow the treasure hunting. Is the gold production. Odyssey International can be bought. That's an over-the-counter stock.
That is a publicly traded stock. Yeah.
Yep. You know, if you want to put a little money each one of those, you know, I have money in Odyssey. And it doesn't really make a lot, but it was a fun thing. And that kind of stuff, not huge amounts. And I have money in some of the mining stocks and iShares on a moderate basis now. Since I'm at retirement, it's moderate. And then the rest of it's in BlackRock and Vanguard and those type of holdings. And that's what I do. Don't take my recommendations. I will put a disclaimer out there.
Right.
This is what's been working for me.
Right.
Exactly.
These are not to be taken as inside tips or anything like that.
Exactly.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah. and you know, if you don't have a lot of money to lose, then you don't play with it. You know, I mean,
well, that's the same with anything. I mean, if you can't afford to lose it, then you probably shouldn't be playing with it.
And I looked when I got it was $28,750, I think. When I got that, I hadn't put one penny into it. So why not see if it can make me money? And I've just been.
And you write it out. Don't get all excited when things are going up and down like a yo-yo. Write it out. That's the way it's been doing. I mean, we took a pretty good dip there since that's come back, and this is due to a couple of things I'm in. This year is almost 17%.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, mine has just gone up, and yeah, it took a little dip, but it's going back up. And, you know, when the economy finally kicks in, hopefully this fall, it's going to skyrocket again. I mean, I made 10 grand in 1 year, you know.
And remember, right now, it's on the positive side on paper.
That's it.
That's on
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah, it always sounds great on paper.
It is something that always makes you a little nervous, but it's just like looking for gold. I don't work on speculation. I don't get into claims unless we've had testing done on claims. I learned a bad lesson on this has been a few years back in Arizona. We were in Lost Coyote mining, and we had things going along good. Went down and actually looked at the claims, quite a few of them. Where we lost out, we couldn't get riparian rights. Riparian rights is water, and they would not allow us to bring in or divert or drill for water, and that killed our production. So that put a deadhead on that one. So I lost some bucks on that, but I've been on the other side on some other claims and that we purchased. Gold took off. We sold the claims well, and I made money and those were proven claims. They had gold. We were working gold on them, and we sold for quite a bit of money.
There you go. Well, so, I think we've probably, we should probably think about rolling on out of here anyway.
Well,
don't roll too fast.
I'm going to roll. I'll let 2 days go. And good talk tonight. Everybody have a great day. And we'll talk at you all later. And maybe we can get out there and find something on the beaches.
I hope so.
I hope so, too. Have a good night. Barb, send me that, will you? The Addy, please. And we'll get that off to you with a Mercury dime in the box.
Yeah, because if you don't, I'll be in communication with him tomorrow to make sure it gets done.
There you go.
Because I'll get it to him.
And 1 pink snakeskin.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Good answer. Thanks, Joe.
Bye.
Later.
All right.
Chuck should have my address on his phone so I don't have to keep sending it to him.
Well, that's why I have it on my phone so that I can send it.
and you know,
I take care of Chuck's light work.
Well, what happens is that people go to their messenger and they don't see the address and they're like, I know they sent it. Well, just give a thumbs up and you can scroll back in the chat and find it. And people don't realize that. They're like, I know it's here. Nope, there's no more messages. And I do that to people and they'll go, did you need something? And I'm like, just needed your address. I got it. Thank you. And I don't think people realize that.
Right. No, I utilize a number of addresses, so I've got them too if they need them. So, and yours is one I've definitely had to put to use a few times.
Just a few, but I sent it to Pops.
Okay, so we got that taken care of.
And I appreciate that, John. Thank you very much. Will it go on any detector? Because I don't know nothing about these snake skins.
The snake skin will go on your Equinox.
Ew, so it's going to be purdy.
Yeah.
So I guess I wear blue bandana, and I guess he didn't have blue. But I wear my pink bandana a lot that Emily gave me. And so I'll have to wear my pink bandana when I put my pink snake skin on.
I guess maybe I should have sent you a little pink pirate buddy instead of the one I did, but it'll still go.
No, I like my pirate buddy. He hangs on. Which detector is he on today? I think he's on the GPX. I'll have to move him to my other detector.
Well, who knows? He's hanging around somewhere.
I move him from one to the other.
Right.
And I didn't take him the last time, so that's probably why I didn't find nothing.
Oh, well, you may be onto something.
Yeah. Oh, God, don't get bit when I install the snake skin. Oh, stop it. They've been talking about bowels and diets and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, the chat likes to take on a mind of its own.
Yeah, and they're in the toilet, literally.
Well, that's the way it goes sometimes. I don't know. I'm just I'm waiting for tomorrow to see what the prices start doing again.
Well, I'm going to have to look because I think I do have, that case that I bought with all the drawers. I want to say one drawer is full of silver.
There you go.
And I won those at a dig.
Right.
So I probably could recoup 2 digs worth on just selling dimes.
Maybe.
I mean, I can't sell a Rosie, but I can't sell a Merc, but I could sell Rosies all day long because I don't like them.
Right. Well, there you go. It sounds
right.
like a plan.
All right. Well, you have a good night, and I'm glad Chuck talked about silver, gold. I got 1 gold ring, and I just can't take it and get it melted because it's a class ring. And I know as soon as I do, I'll run into somebody, and they'll go, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah," and I'll go, "Oh God, I melted that."
Right. Well, you should probably keep a hold of that one then. But hey, that gives you plenty of time. You can check on your silver dimes.
All right. Well, you have a good night. Thanks for letting me chat. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a good night, Barb. Thanks for the call.
Night.
All right. For everyone else, I think we're going to roll on out of here. We've ran on a little longer than I had planned, but not too bad. So, hey, get out there and try to find something if you can. I know it's tough right now, but at least give it a shot. We'll see what happens. Until then, make sure if you're in one of the problem areas, mask up, practice social distancing, stay smart. Get out there and try to find it if you can. Post up those photos. You know how we love to see them. We'll catch you on the next one. We're out of here.